Hello there, and welcome to Ask Sue London. This is the show that helps people and pets cope, heal, and move forward. I'm your host, Sue London, and I'm here today to inspire you and to bring you hope and to help you. We're going to talk about grief and the gift. So, this is here to help you to understand what happens when your pet loses their friend and about how there's magic and miracles happening from the other side when our pet crosses, the gifts that they bring us that sometimes we're not aware of when we're in this grief-stricken way. Now, before we start with my guest today, I love her so much. So I'm going to tell you really quickly what's going on. I got to read my notes here. So here's what's happening. Okay, so I have some events coming up that I really encourage you to come to them. They're free. You're going to learn so much from this. So the first event I'm doing is it's through Happy Buys, actually. It's going to be about an hour and a half online event, and it's happening on March the 11th. I will put in the description area how you can register for that. I'm talking in that event about connecting to your pet, both alive and crossed over. So check that out. The details are in the description. The next event I'm doing is the next night. It's an Ask Sue London live event. And on that, it is a free event, and it's happening on the Tuesday, March the 12th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And that event, we're talking about expanding your intuition to have a deeper connection with your pet. So you're going to learn lots of tools and tips on how to connect with your pet at such a deeper level. So again, with that, I'll put the link in the description below. And I am so excited to tell you that I have a membership area now on my website, AskSueLondon.com. Now, on there, I've set this up purposely because, let's face it, there's a lot of people struggling right now with finances. And when you have a pet that's sick, that can really blow your budget when you need to go to a vet if you've got some things going on. So I'm offering monthly healings for your pets, messages, meditations actually for you and your pet, and so much more. So I want to encourage you to go to my website, AskSueLondon.com, and on the top you'll see membership and check out the different options. And I want you to know that I am here to help you with whatever you're going through. And also, if you want to learn how to do healing on your pet yourself, again, at the website, I have an upcoming people, pet, and planet Reiki training. So check out those details. I think that's the beginning of April that's happening. So now that I've told you all the update and what's been happening, let me tell you about my amazing guest. So I've got Kyla Gibson here with me today. Now, she is the manager from the Pet Valu in our local hometown of Fort Erie, Ontario, Canada. And we are going to talk about an experience and a situation that we went through together. If you've seen my show in the past, you would remember me telling you about our boy Gussie crossing over. It was in July, the end of July of 2023. And so now we're going to start introducing my guests. So Kyla, welcome to the show, my friend. I love you so much. I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here, Sue, and thank you so much for having me. And it's amazing. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Well, you know what? How many times do we share the story? And I thought, we together have to tell our experience because people need to understand. Number one, you and I saw how our Marley, that was so attached to our Gus, how he was going downhill seriously because he never had one day apart from Gus, let alone an hour, nothing apart. He was in bad state. Right?
He was. It was truly heartbreaking just to see him completely on himself after that, after his loss of his best friend.
And I see this a lot, that pets grieve. And you're doing a lot of work through, Pet Valu Store. You have rescues coming in. You have people coming in with their pets and stories. Do you see this a lot, that it's quite common, right?
It is. It was not even a week ago, had somebody come in who just lost one of their two dogs, and their current dog they still have is really going through a grieving process. So, and I actually shared this story about Buddy and that as well, because just to see the difference in Marley, who was going through such a heartbreaking situation, and having found Buddy and seeing that total change and everything else. So I shared their Buddy story with them as well.
Right.
And
So,
hopefully they'll be looking for a new companion for their dog because he's been going through a very similar situation that Marley was.
and I can remember years ago that a vet said to me, now you got two dogs. Do you always have to have two or, two pets? Because they're like people. You imagine being a person by yourself and struggling and being lonely and that. And so it's like pets as well. So, if you're watching this and your pet is grieving, I can help you. Reach out to me and I can help you. You can reach out to Kyla. She has amazing help through the shelters that she's connected to. When we got together that one day, remember my schedule was so crazy. I like what happened after Gussie crossed. He had told me the night before he crossed that he knew it was his time. We were getting a new puppy. He told me this the night before he crossed. Okay. So here we're getting this new puppy. Okay. The worst thing you want to hear your dog saying, right? That you know what's happening. And he was preparing me. And then he said to me, I can help you at a much bigger level on the other side. And it was 2 days after I got the first award of 4. I'm now being featured on a cover of a magazine, Lifetime Achievement Award, Humanitarian Award. This is all because what my dog Gussie did. So I'm having this
Absolutely.
happen, right? And I'm reaching out to Kyla and I said, Kyla, help me find a dog. Help me find the right pet for Marley because I had to work with Marley on my knee. I had to carry him everywhere. I couldn't go into like our drugstore or grocery store with the dog because he wasn't classed as a service dog. So
Mhm.
Ross and I were like, one would go and stay because he just was so connected to me because I was taking the place of Gussie, right? So now let's go into the day when the man walks in and tell everybody what happens. Our life changed forever. I think for both of us, right? All of us.
It did. Just the way everything happened, it was just fantastic. And I, a normal day at work, and had a gentleman walk into the store. He was just about to leave. I asked, like, if he needed help with anything, and he turns and had said, well, his situation, he had to put his parents in a home, which was unfortunate, and they had a dog that obviously they were going to no longer be able to care for. And he lived a ways away and also did not have the means to take care of this dog. And um, he had reached out to us to see if we may have any options to find this dog a home. And having spoken to Sue, I don't even think it was a week before this happened, and that you were looking and everything, and I asked if he had a picture. He showed me. As soon as I seen his picture, I ran over to the front and I grabbed Sue's phone number and called her up and said, I've got the perfect little guy here for you right now. This gentleman's looking to rehome him, and I thought of you immediately.
Well,
So and you were there in I think under 5 minutes to come
well,
in.
what the funny thing was, Kyla, was that I'm normally really busy, like from morning till sometimes like last night I was working till 11 p.m. That's why I'm kind of looking tired here, folks. But what happened was I had this window where I was available, like I could, either slack off or, rest, but I didn't have to be here with a client or whatever, right? And you called at that exact right time. So everyone listening, listen to all the synchronicities we're telling you. So Kyla calls me, the man's there. She intuitively knows she's got to talk with this man, right? You don't know why, but you know you have to. So you talk with him, and then he needs to find a home for the dog. And the funny thing is, I think we talked about this, is that I love Shih Tzus. I've always loved the breed Shih Tzus because they're great. They don't shed. They're hyperallergenic. I like the tiny dogs. I put them in my pocket or in my arm, and wherever they come on shows with me, they can go in hospitals and the whole bit. And I really love the personalities of Bichons. And so this dog that Kyla's calling me about Well, we didn't know what it was, right? The man thought it was a Shih Tzu, first of all. We hadn't seen him because he hadn't had his hair cut. And it wasn't until he had his haircut we saw that he had a nose. And that's how bad the shape the dog was in. And so what happened, we were trying to find out the breed and all the history and stuff like that. And then we figured out he's got the front half is Bichon with the nose, and the back end is the Shih Tzu with the tail on that. And this dog, oh my gosh, right, Kyla? This is like Wonder Dog, right?
Yes,
So
he is. And
yeah,
just and it, like you said, the synchronicity, the way everything happened, it couldn't have been more perfect. And I was fully expecting to get your voicemail because I knew all the crazy stuff you had going on at that point. And then when you picked up the
yeah.
phone, I was like, I have a gentleman here. He's got the perfect dog. I think you should really come out and check it out. And 5 minutes later, you were there. I asked him, like, do you have a few minutes? You don't have to rush out. And
Mhm.
he managed to stick around long enough for you to get there so that you guys could communicate and discuss a buddy himself and
Well,
temperament and whatnot, and it worked perfectly. It just fell
oh yeah.
together.
And the interesting thing, I don't know if you remember, but do you remember how, you've got my pamphlets and my cards on the table, right? And he
Yep.
was staying beside them, and the pet hospice doula pamphlet I have, it came out of the pamphlet and it landed beside him. And he picked it up. He's like, and I saw Gus beside this man, and I thought, okay, this is Gus's doing. And so when the man picked it up, he goes, oh, this is you. And Kyla said, yeah, that she only would let me, like she thought of only me for this particular dog. And so I knew right away this was the dog. I didn't even see the dog at that point, right? Because
No,
you
you
were
had
there.
just come into the store, but what got
Yeah,
us was
yeah,
that when you came, you had Marley with you,
right.
and
Yes,
the time
yes,
you were in before that, he was just not himself. He wouldn't wag his tail. He wouldn't take
right,
any treats from me. He
right.
really just wanted to lay there and do nothing else. But when you came
Mhm.
in to meet this gentleman, the
Yeah,
shift in his mood at that
yeah,
particular moment, he
yeah,
actually took treats from me while you were
yeah,
talking to this gentleman, and
yeah.
his tail was wagging. He came over to snuggle with me, and he actually was up and walking around the store. And I think that was the real moment where we were like, I think this is it.
We know this is it, right? And so I'm telling this man now, I'm so lucky to have the man I'm married to be my man, because like, let's face it, how many men will support their wife to say, by the way, I adopted a dog without you, And so I knew that this dog was for us. I knew that this dog was for Marley. And I knew that it was so right. And it was kind of an emergency situation. Like, what
It
we're not
was.
telling everyone is that the wife had dementia and the husband had Alzheimer's disease. And
Yes.
why the man had to have a home for the dog was because they forgot they had him. And when we had a lot, like the vet really checked Buddy over, and they found that his diet was basically consisting of bird droppings, and that he was left in the garage. They forgot about him. He had never been in a car ride. He was 22 months old when we got him. He'd never been in a car, and he never had been walked. So
I don't
we
think he had
knew,
ever been groomed either. And that,
no,
because
no,
like you
that's
said,
100%.
with their ailments they forgot that
Yeah,
they even had a
yeah,
dog, and that's when their son had stepped in and
yeah.
decided that it was best to find him a home that was best for Buddy, and needed to do
Yeah.
something with his parents as well.
So here we are. We're talking to him. I think that was on the Thursday, right? I talked to him, and then I phoned Ross at work. I said, by the way, Gussie sent his replacement. He's like, okay, are we going to decide on this together? I said, oh, we're picking him up tomorrow. And he's like, okay. He says, well, I trust you. And I said, well, yeah, Kyla's part of this too. And of course, I had to bring you in on this. We were in this together, girl.
Oh,
And so Ross was
exactly.
like, right. So Ross was totally supportive of everything. And Ross is a real animal lover himself. And he was concerned about Marley. And what was interesting, right, was the next day we go, and this dog, I think because he had spent his life being the pet therapist, for the man with Alzheimer's, that he really connected to Ross more than me, which was crazy for me because I'm the one that animals come to first. But Buddy went to Ross first. And now Ross and Buddy are inseparable. And, when you watch Ross and Buddy, like Ross is even lighting up more. Now he's a happy, loving guy, but he's laughing harder. And the things he's doing with this dog, that they're inseparable. And he said it's like his dog Maddie that he had many, many years ago. So this dog really came for Marley, for bringing our family a healing, and also for helping Ross to have really his own dog instead of watching the dogs all around me and nobody going to him, kind of thing, right? So
Exactly.
much, so much more came out of this whole experience. And I guess we are going to, we are going to bring you back again, and we're going to talk about adoptions, right? We're going to talk about what you look at and what people need to know about that, because it is a real responsible thing when you do, have a pet come in your home. You have to be able to care for that. You have to be like, this dog, Buddy, was given to a couple that were 92 years old at 8 weeks old. And we have done a lot of work with him, and he's still scared in the car. I have learned, and with all the work I do, that he has a past life experience that keeps coming up. Anytime we're in a moving vehicle, he like is beside himself. So every day since we got him in September, we have to go for a car ride. And sometimes it's like 5 minutes. Sometimes we're going from home down to the waterfront. We did get as far as driving 33 minutes when we had the photo shoot done a couple of weeks ago, but that's as far as we've got. Now this week we're hoping to go to Hamilton, which is I think about an hour and a half, maybe Hamilton, Ontario, Canada Mountain. So we're just going slow with Buddy, letting him trust us. And we did
Helping him
learn that,
overcome his fears as well, and
right?
being there
Yeah,
for him and reassuring
yeah,
him that,
yeah,
it's going to be okay. You're going to be able to
right.
go for a car ride without fear.
Yeah. Right. And like if you're watching this, like please like comment on this and tell Kyla that, honestly, like this is part her dog too. And wouldn't it be great if she'd like to take Buddy for a car ride one day or two or three, just pointing that out, Kyla, that we always take the video and we'll send Kyla, we'll say, this is what Buddy's doing now, and this is how he is now, we're having fun with it. But we love him to bits. And I can't tell you how much we are so incredibly grateful to you, and that you listened to your intuition. You knew you had to talk to that man. You saw how Marley was struggling. Not everybody would do that and have such a big heart and filled with love and good intentions like you do. And that's why I love you so much. You're such an amazing, incredible, beautiful soul. I love you
Thank
so
you,
much.
and you as
Yeah.
well. And I think that's why we kind of click so well the way
Yeah.
that we do, because like
Yeah.
minds,
Well,
right?
exactly. And it's just like it just brings me teary eyed just to know that, like, together as a group, with between you and I and the son and Ross and Marley and Gussie on the other side doing his magic, that we were able to help a pet get over the loss of his best friend, and we brought healing to another dog, and there's still more happening with him. And like when we had the photo shoot with for the magazine cover, the photographer was even saying, this dog, we sat for 3 hours for the photo shoot. Like we were having pictures for 3 hours. Buddy's like, just like, this is like the natural thing for me to do. And so this dog is like really wanting to be in the camera. Like, I'm surprised he didn't want to be on my knee today, but I'm sure when, we've gotten Ross out the door earlier than when we did this, that he'll be, on the next time we talk, because he loves being in front of the camera. And I'm sure in a past life, he must have been in front of the media because he's so comfortable with it.
Yes,
So,
he is.
yeah.
Loves to be the star.
Right. So now we are out of time, but I want you to tell everybody about the store, where you're located, and remind them that we are at the border of Canada and the States. So the Americans got to come over and see you. So
Absolutely. So we're the Pet Valu in Fort Erie, Ontario, Canada. And we do a lot of work with our local rescues, as well as, again, pets and pet owners. We just have to be there for one another and try to help out as best we can towards one another. And just even, I had mentioned earlier the couple that had come in and they had recently lost a dog, and we were discussing alternative um, tips and whatnot, opposed to having to get another pet and whatnot. Things like a doggy daycare service or play
yes,
dates
yeah.
or things like that that would also be beneficial if you don't have the means to adopt another animal. And we're here to help, so
And,
tips and tricks and everything
and
that we can in between.
and I was going to share with people because I like to travel. We want to get Buddy to a point where we're going to be able to travel again. I I I I think I'm right when I say this. You guys have the spa there, like the tub and that, don't you? If for the dogs when they want to be bathed, don't you?
Self-serve dog
Yeah.
wash, yes.
Right. And I want to share that because I know when, we live in the Niagara region of Southern Ontario, Canada, and we have a lot of tourists come to our area, right? And if you're traveling, Kyla's store, the Pet Valu, is great because you can take your pet in there and bath them yourself. Because a lot of times when you're bringing your pet and they get dirty, they're going in the lake or whatever, you want to have them clean and not smelling like a wet dog kind of thing. So that's another benefit that people who are tourists can come and see you as well. Now, can I ask you to share your email address? Because if we've got people watching this, I'm telling everyone you are so intuitive at the matchmaking between owner and pets. So can you share your email, because then I'll put that in the description area, and if people watching this want to, you know, adopt a pet or
Even
connect
reach
with you,
out
they can
with
reach out.
questions or inquiries, anything like that. Absolutely. Our,
Okay. And what's your email?
pardon?
What's your email? Can you tell everybody your email address?
Yes. PVF2203 at petvalu.biz.
Perfect. And again, if you've missed that, I will put that in the description area of the, below the show. So my gosh, friend, we are out of time. I'm so glad we finally have sat down and recorded and shared the adventures of Gus and Marley and Buddy Story. And I hope if you've been watching this that we have given you some hope, some inspiration, some peace of mind to know that, your pet does grieve, and that is quite common. So, if you're not sure what to do, you can reach out to me. If you need messages from your pet on the other side, you want to know stuff, if you want to get another pet, you don't know what to do around that, connect with Kyla. We are both here to help you with whatever it is you need. Will you come back, my friend, and we'll talk about animal adoption? We'll have you come back again.
Of course, I would love to.
And we'll get you bringing on Snow White. Snow White was with her before when we started. This is her rescue cat, and I guess she feels that you're comfortable now and you're an old pro now at this. So she's probably out of the camera, but you might see her, and I'll try and see if we can get Buddy to come on. So thanks, my friend, for being here. I love you so much, and thank you for changing our personal families' whole journey and helping our pets and ourselves heal. We love and appreciate you. And thanks for being here.
Anytime. And I love you guys too, and I'm happy to be a part of it and everything else. So, and I would love to join you again. It would be amazing.
Perfect. Now, I'll work on her, folks, on getting her to take Buddy for a car ride, and we'll see how that goes. Notice I'm putting this as a recording so everyone can hear it around the world, right? No, I'm joking. I am totally responsible for Buddy, but I like to bring Kyla, and she's like Auntie Kyla to Buddies. Kind of fun,
Absolutely.
seeing them
We
together.
should have we should have recorded the raincoat incident.
Oh, we'll talk about that another time. Oh my gosh, we have so many stories, people, that we can share with you. I'm telling you, like, if there's a dog that can just stop you from watching TV, or if you ever feel bored, like I don't have that happen, but this is what this dog does. And we could write a book on him, The Adventures of Buddy, right? So we're out of time. I'm Sue London, and to learn everything that's coming up for me, I want to invite you to go to my website, asksuelondon.com, and on behalf of my amazing, beautiful friend Kyla, myself, Sue, we both want to wish you much love and many blessings, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.